More than 200 rats and other animals were rescued from a house earlier this week, and those animals are being put up for adoption thanks to KC Pet Project and other shelters around Kansas City. 41 Action News reporter Jordan Betts joins us live at KC Pet Project with how you can adopt one of those furry animals. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Brian. Yeah, they've been very busy here at KC Pet Project this week. They took in, just alone, they took in more than 200 rats. Shelters around the city really banding together to make sure that all of these animals had a place to go. So today, many of those animals are up for adoption. You can take this video. This was yesterday of some of the pets that are here at KC Pet Project, which opens up at noon today. Since the rescue, more than 50 animals have been placed in foster care. 25 rats have already been adopted, and more will be put up for adoption today. But that's not all. The shelter has rabbits, guinea pigs, and geckos that need to be adopted as well. Some of the animals do have injuries, but they are being watched very closely by vets. They are in very good condition, is what firefighters told us when we were on scene on Monday when this all unfolded. The shelter says the one animal they really need people to adopt are those rats.
Rat adoptions are $10 for the first one, $5 for everyone after that. They have to go out at least in pairs. We can't adopt out more than two, and they have to be the same gender. We're not going to spay and neuter the rats. That's just, too delicate of a procedure.
And as for some of the rabbits, they have been adopted as well, but some of them are being spayed and neutered, so they won't be up for adoption for several more days. KC Pet Project just went on and on about how thankful they are for the community because they stepped up very quickly to make sure that, odds and animals like cats and dogs are easy to, take in foster care, but we're talking turtles and geckos that are being fostered in some people's homes. And so it's very exciting, and many of those animals will be adopted today here at KC Pet Project, which opens up at noon. Back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Jordan. Well, here's Gary's favorite event. If you see a bunch of people running in their underwear today, don't worry, it's all for a good cause. Hundreds of people will brave the cold for Cupid's Undie Run. Starts at noon at McFadden's Empower and Light, and the proceeds go to the Children's Tumor Foundation. Well, today you can get a chance to meet Chiefs defensive tackle Chris Jones. Now, he'll be at the Sprint store in Overland Park from 4:30 to 5:30 this afternoon. Fans can also enter for a chance to win Chiefs home opener tickets and pick up a free Chiefs Champs Rally sign. If you have a plan to last-minute date for a Valentine's Day weekend, the good news is Leslie Odom Jr. is in town for a concert. The Grammy and Tony Award-winning performer is known for his role as Aaron Burr in the Broadway hit Hamilton. He'll be joined by the Kansas City Symphony for an evening filled with jazz and Broadway favorites. The show starts at 8 p.m. at the Sprint Center. Later today, there will be a bud tender training and certification workshop. It's for those interested in getting a job in the medical marijuana industry. Medical marijuana is expected to bring thousands of jobs to the state of Missouri, and that means training people on the ins and outs of the industry. It will be held at the Clay Como Community Center. You are one step closer to being able to ride your electric bike on trails at Johnson County Parks. This week, a community voted to move forward with a plan allowing pedal assist e-bikes on paved trails. The county just wrapped up a 6-month pilot program allowing bikes on the trails. County staff tells us it's received more positive feedback than negative. The Parks Board meets next week to take a final vote on this proposal. And we all need to grab a side hustle sometimes. Well, we found out which gig jobs will pay you the most.
While you were sleeping, it warmed up above freezing. We'll take a look at our forecast coming up.
Spring training is underway for the Royals as pitchers and catchers reported earlier this week to surprise Arizona. As they wait for the rest of the squad to arrive, new manager Mike Matheny is liking what he sees so far. One of the hottest topics this season will be if the club can keep their losses under 100. With the past 2 seasons recording 100-plus losses, fans really hope with new ownership and direction that the Royals will quickly get back to their winning ways. Although it's only been a few days, Matheny says he sees that potential out of this team.
I've loved everything that I've seen. There's an urgency. You have urgency and you have talent, and you have competition and beautiful sunshine. That's spring training. That's it right there in a bottle for me. And
And although the main work is being put in on the field in Surprise, the organization's still busy back here in Kansas City. A new foul pole was installed on Friday in right field. You can see the view of Kauffman as workers installed the 33,424-pound pole. It's going to hang additional protective netting to keep fans safe. Next, the left field pole is set to be installed later on next week. And in college hoops this weekend, Mizzou will face another ranked opponent, number 11 Auburn in Columbia, as Kansas will host Oklahoma and K-State hits the road for TCU. Now, the Missouri Tigers have won 3 games against ranked opponents since Martin took over as head coach, but they have not won against a ranked opponent since all the way back in February of 2018. The team has struggled with rebounding in their past few matchups, and that's something that Martin says will be key in Saturday's game.
I think that's the biggest key for us. It's not so much as making and missing shots. Of course, you want to do that, but I think if we're winning the rebound battles or in the ballpark where it's going back and forth, then that's an indication how the game will go down.
For Kansas, their game gets going a little early at Allen Fieldhouse, 11 a.m. The Jayhawks hold an 11.5-point favorite over the Sooners, while K-State tips off at 4 p.m. in Fort Worth. The Horned Frogs haven't won a game in 24 days, while the Wildcats haven't won one in 16 days. That's a look at your morning sports. Have a great Saturday.
Hey, a correction from earlier. We said Leslie Odom Jr. would be performing at the Sprint Center. Well, he's actually performing at the Kauffman Center. Now, the Grammy and Tony Award-winning performer is known for his role as Aaron Burr in the Broadway hit Hamilton. He'll be joined by the Kansas City Symphony for an evening filled with jazz and Broadway favorites. The show starts at 8 p.m. once again at the Kauffman Center. If you're dining out this Valentine's Day weekend, you may find the price of love a little more expensive. According to the Wall Street Journal, January restaurant prices climbed 3% from last year. That's the fastest annual increase for that month since 2009. Food industry analysts say a tight labor market is the reason why. To attract employees, restaurants have to raise wages and then their menu prices in order to compensate. The price of beef is also increased by 19%, which could contribute to the rising menu prices. Well, the good news for anybody who got engaged over Valentine's Day, paying for the wedding will be cheaper by about $31. That's according to the latest Real Wedding study from The Knot. They say the average wedding cost $33,900 in 2019. However, it's a significant drop from 2016, where the average cost was over $35,000. Now, when figuring out what's worth the cost, Novi Money surveyed married and divorced people over the past 10 years on what was worth spending more on for their wedding. Majority of people believe the dress, the photographer, and wedding cake are worth the cost. However, only about a third of people say a wedding planner, wedding favors, and champagne toasts were worth the money. With all of these expenses, you may have to find a side hustle to earn some extra cash. Well, consumer investigator Kat Reed found out which are the best part-time gigs for 2020 so you don't waste your money.
Millions of people have joined the gig economy in recent years, working a side hustle for extra cash. Vicky Zwizzler has driven for Uber and Lyft for more than 5 years.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
The most popular gig jobs these days involve driving because of almost no startup fees. Ride sharing is also a great gig if you enjoy meeting new people. Not a people person? Then consider a food delivery service like DoorDash or Uber Eats. Uber Eats driver Lewis dropped off a lunchtime pizza and ended up with $10 for just a few minutes work. Matthew Wimsat, meantime, is a Dasher, a DoorDash driver, and loves the freedom and flexibility.
You know, make a little bit extra money and not really have to answer to the man.
If you enjoy shopping, Instacart and Shipt combine grocery shopping with delivery, which can mean a bigger payout than just driving food. If you don't want to spend all your time behind the wheel, there are plenty of other options. Consider pet sitting through services like Rover. Angela Davidson earns about $40 a night watching dogs for families on vacation.
People just want somebody that can not only house sit, but pet sit also.
If you enjoy minor home repairs, loan out your talents through apps like Thumbtack, TaskRabbit, Handy, and Homey. But the side hustle that can pay the most is renting out your home when you're away through Airbnb or Vrbo. Unfortunately,